Hello, this is Rebecca, and today I'm back with a video to show you how I do a owl. I posted this on Instagram last night, and this is just kind of a fun little painting doodle that I did, and so I asked if you guys would be interested in seeing one done, and a couple of you said yes, so I took that as yes, and so here I am today to show you how to make a really cute owl. Now, one of the things that's fun about making these projects is I always think about I can put them in any outfit, you know, so especially like when I'm creating girls, that's part of the fun is to like, oh, what kind of outfit can I put to them? And so with this particular owl, I was really looking for kind of a vest type deal. I thought about putting a bow tie on him, but it just didn't look right. But and then I tried to come in here with some purple paint, and my paint just was not real thick, and so it was like I was kind of smearing the other paint, and that also with the process of I didn't wait for the original orange to dry, so that kind of created some issues. But I'm looking at it this way. This is just a fun little journaling page that I did in my journal, and so it was for fun, and you know, it's okay that it's messed up a little bit. So I'm going to show you my process. It's super easy, and I'm going to kind of tell you some shortcuts in case you're not real comfortable with drawing. You know, sometimes especially like my mom, she'll say, I can't draw a thing. And so I want to kind of show you some ideas that can make it a little bit more easier, but that you can still create your own little figure. So I'm using, I've been wanting to make a cover for this. This is actually a insert from the Yellow Paper House, and if you have ordered anything from them before, you know it's like this covered here. I had one up here not too long ago that I haven't used yet, but I went ahead and covered this just because it would save a step, but it's basically like this crafts paper cover, and so I just used a real thin, not cardstock, but it's scrapbooking paper, but it's super thin to where it was easy to adhere with glue, and I just used my Elmer's Extreme Glue. Now what I plan on doing is, you can see already, it wasn't a perfect cut, and also some little bit is coming up here, and so probably what I'm going to do is just take some washi around the edging, and that will also add kind of like some different different designs to the edging, and that will keep it from fraying up through the use. So I just basically put, this is my calendar in case I didn't open it, but this is my weekly calendar that I post also on Instagram. So I'm going to be, this was this week's, and so I'm just going to, I wanted to put a cover on it, but I just haven't done that yet. So I thought this was a perfect opportunity. So basically, oh, let me give you just kind of some little supplies that I'm going to use. I have some punches here. This is a 1-inch circle punch, and this is a 3/4 inch circle punch. I have this flower shaped punch, and I also have these, oops, got a messy on here. These are little bitty, I don't even know what size they are. I use this a lot, and so, but this came in a kit with like 2 or 3 of these little punches, but it's a little teeny tiny round punch as well. And these are what I'm using for my eyes. And then I also have a heart punch that I created glasses with, and I'm hoping to put glasses on this little owl. And I think I've showed you the process of how I make my glasses, but I went ahead and made these because I didn't want to have, if I messed up on them, I didn't want to have to like keep repeating it, so at least I have a pair, but I will show you how to do those as well. And I think I've shown them before, so forgive me if it's a repetitive thing, but I can't remember. So, okay, so basically, this is how I kind of did my owl, and if you are kind of like, I can't draw or worried about drawing, you could go to the internet. You could print out a owl shape, and then you could just basically cut the owl shape out of your printer paper and put it down here, and then just do an outline so that you feel more comfortable with your owl shape. And so, but I just kind of come in here and I just wing it, and I hope I do okay on camera here. And I just basically, it kind of looks like cat ears at first, and I'm just using a pencil, and then I just do his little round body just like that. And this is where I think people could get tricky, because see, even he's got a little thicker on this side, but keep in mind this is for you, and I think that's part of the fun of being creative and in painting, and especially as the kind of the artist that I like to do, it's not exactly perfect all the time. But sometimes it can bother you like it's bothering me right now. And then I would try to come in here and reshape. Now I'm going to come in, basically I'm taking white paint, or you can use gesso as well too, to put down as a base. And the reason I'm doing that is because sometimes the paint that I use will not cover up, or you have to do several layers. But if you do like a white layer, then that's basically creating a base for your design. And I'm just going to come in here with a paintbrush and just fill it in with where I drew. Again, you're going to come over here with some regular color paint. And this is where you kind of want to keep in mind what design do you want to do, and what colors, and kind of go ahead and get those ideas in your head about, you know, what you're looking for. This owl in particular, what I'm thinking, okay, is kind of want to make it like with the glasses. And so I don't know yet about her little outfit. It is going to be a girl. I want to add a bow in her hair, so I have that kind of in my mind. Sometimes I use the lid with my paint because when I shake it up, it already has some in there. And I'm just basically going to come in here and create a base so that when I do come with my paints, it's I don't have to put so many layers. And being that this paper is rather thin, it's not like a cardstock. The one that I used on my journaling page, it was actually a real thick, it was Cartabella paper actually. And so if you are familiar with Cartabella paper, it's very thick and it has like a texture to it. And I was just worried about this because I do not really, I mean, if it bubbles, it will probably be okay, but during the drying phases, it'll probably be just fine. Seems like that lid had some really thick paint in there. But I'm just going to do that. Okay. And then while that is drying, you can see it's kind of bubbling up. But typically, if it bubbles up, see it kind of bubble. When it dries, it will be it'll be just fine. So hopefully it will dry. And I could turn my little heat pump thingy on, or heat dryer thing, but we're going to just give it a whirl and see if we can get it to dry while we're here on camera. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you the process of making the eyes. And if you could see here, you could do whatever eye shape. If you want to do like star shapes, or if you want to do just plain circles, you could do that. But I love the little flower, the scalloped flower look. So I'm going to go ahead, and I've picked out this paper. It's another floral paper, and I thought since I'm kind of going with the pink, I'm going to just punch out 2 of those. And this has kind of some pink background, even though I'm going to be filling in a lot of this. So I'm going to be doing these glasses, so I'm going to go ahead and have the eyes looking forward at me. So I'm going to get a black piece of paper. Where was the one I was using? If not, I have some more here. And this is just black cardstock. And I'm going to punch the 1-inch paper, just like that. And then the 3/4 inch is going to be white paper. And you know, and then I did black paper again for the small. If you wanted to add color eyes, this is where you would do your small, the little round dot. And you could put like green or blue or something like that if you wanted to change up the colors. So I'm going to come in here and then punch these little guys out. So now you kind of have the eyeballs here. And what I basically do is I'm going to just layer them up like so. And see, the eyeballs create, and you got perfectly round circles. If you don't have the punches and you have some of the punches, you can always do like a you could use paint and fill it in. So this is kind of my idea, what I'm thinking. But I wanted to make sure that these glasses were going to work too. So I think that looks pretty cute. They look like zombie right now, but it'll look better when they're on the actual, the owl. So I'm just going to come in here with my glue and glue these down his eyeballs. Just like that. And this is where you could have them even doing like, you know, like a rolling of the eyes, like looking up, or if you had something like on your, if you made the smaller owl and you had something above the owl and the owl was looking up. But I like the fact that you can do where however you want your eyes to be. And I think if you thought they were too zombie looking, you could probably come in here, and I'll do that since we have a little bit of time while the owl is drying over there, is you can add a little white to the pupils of the eyes so they don't look so like zombie. I guess I'll call them zombie, but they just look wide-eyed. So just like that. Okay, so we can add a little speck of white on here and make them not so maybe kind of soften them up just a tad there. And that's all you got to do is just add a little bit of white, kind of like a soft little sparkle in their eye. So I'm just going to move these off the screen way up here so I don't smudge the paint, and I'm going to come back to my owl. It's a little dry. It could probably use a little bit more, but you know, we're on time frame here, so I'm going to go ahead and start painting it. I thought about doing it. I pulled out these turquoise and pink color because I really like those two together, and so I'm thinking about doing a turquoise owl. So basically you're just going to come in here and do exactly, you're just coloring the owl at this point. And I'm just going to come in here with my turquoise and make another layer. Again, you can see it's kind of bubbling up. I mean, I feel it under my paintbrush, but I do feel like when the owl is dry completely, you're not going to have that problem. You can also see that it's kind of like not going clear. I mean, like, you can still see the white through there, and that's okay because we can come in and add another layer like that. I love this color. It is Peacock Teal by Americana. If you're wondering what kind of paint, I just go to Hobby Lobby and I buy my acrylic paint. Now sometimes I will get some more expensive paint, especially if I'm doing canvases and stuff, because I like the thicker. Let's see here if I have any. I don't see any right at my fingertips, but I'll use like a thicker. It's called a heavy acrylic, and I really like using that on canvases because I layer up and it creates like a thickness. It's real easy to work with, and those I really buy in spurts because usually they're pretty more expensive. But I love to wait till, like, especially Hobby Lobby will have their paints on sale, 30% off, and so I'll just go and stock up. Since my studio is in the garage, due to the heat, my paints have a tendency to dry quicker, faster, and so I'm always restocking them. By the way, we're getting a new garage door. My son ran into it last year, so had like a little dent in it. We tried to pop it out and we repainted it, you know, but it just doesn't work. But we're getting a new one, and the new one has it's insulated, so I'm totally excited because literally in the summer I can't really get out here until, of course, when you're painting and you're doing your crafty stuff, you don't think about it, but it's going to be insulated, so it's going to make a big difference in my studio. So I'm going to set that aside. Well, actually, I'm not going to set it aside just yet. I'm going to show you how to do the branches. So it will dry as we're working on it. Let me see if I can get some brown in here. I basically will pick like a darker brown, and then I have like a lighter brown that I would use. So that way you can add some shadowing into your branch. So what I do is, this is the darker one. This is the traditional burnt umber, and let's get like a kind of a fine tipped, not a fine one, but a fairly thinner where it's not thick on the end. And I'm going to show you how to do a really simple branch. So I'm going to basically, with this one, I kind of did like the end of the branch was coming out of that page. But with this one, since it's opening up on this end, I'm going to say this is like, you know, your branch going out from the tree. So right here, I just kind of made it thicker, and I just came by him like that. So you're just kind of doing a, again, you can come back through, we're going to come back over this and do it another layer, because as you can see, it's not going through here. But I just do it kind of close to his bottom of his body, because we're going to put little feet on him. And we're just going to do that. It doesn't have to be like right on, because remember, I'm going to come in here and add some washi to the outside too. Okay, so I'm going to let that darkness dry, and while this is drying, I'm going to show you how to do the glasses. I'm going to set it kind of up there so we'll have a chance to get it to dry. Okay, so if I've showed you this before, it's just a I probably didn't show you with the hearts, but now I can't find my black construction paper I just had. Oh, here it is. Okay, so what I do is I get my heart punch, or you could do your round one, and I will punch it here, and then I kind of just gauge right next to it like that, to where you're going to have your extension come between your glasses. So I'm going to see if I can get this close so you can see. It's super simple. You just come in here, and like if you wanted to do your cat eye glasses, especially with the round ones, I would just come in here and do like a little wing off the top here. But I'm just going to do like a straight edge come out like that. And then basically all I'm doing is cutting around the shape of the heart. And then when you get to the middle, I do like a little attachment here. And you know, I just kind of eyeball it. If you don't like eyeballing it and you want them exactly perfectly where the glasses are, then you can always use a ruler and a pencil to measure across. But I try to do the best I can, and if it's way off, I'd redo it typically. But if it's a little bit off, I think it just kind of fits with my style of art, so it works out good. So I'm just cutting around the frames, and there you have the cutest pair of heart-shaped glasses. Ta-da! Isn't that cute? And how simple, right? And you can do stars, you can do round punches, any shape of punch that you have. So I'm going to go back to this owl. See how quickly it's drying? That's good. I'm wondering if I should come in here. I think I'm just going to come in here now with the branch and just kind of do a light shade on it. Actually, you know what? We're going to come in here and redo some of the spaces of the of that peacock teal, just to because I see some of it. I don't have to layer up a whole lot of it, but just enough to where it'll cover some of that blotchiness. You know, I mean, not blotchiness, but white spaces. So I'm just going to kind of come in here and fill those up like so. because I'm going to be adding wings and whatnot to him, so he's going to be layered up anyway. So thinking about what he's going to wear too, I don't really know. I'm still kind of, I feel like it's going to come to me when we get to that point. But in the meantime, it's lighter. I think this Mississippi mud is lighter. It's kind of a weird color. It's Mississippi mud. I've used it a couple times, and I've used it and I've taken it off because it literally is a mud, looking mud. But I'm just coming here and doing little wispies over this wood already. You know, not covering it up completely, but adding a different layer of color. Let's see how it looks. See that? I'm not a big fan of this color. For some reason, it's just not. I think it looks too gray, maybe? Is that what it looks to you? I'm going to come in here and do another shade of brown. Now this brown is more like what I was looking at. Oh yeah, that's perfect. And this is espresso. Yeah, who would not love the color espresso? So I'm just going to do this. Kind of come in here. Let's see what it looks like up close. Look good? We can always, I'm going to come in here with a pen afterward. Oh no. You know, I'm going to have to go off camera and get my pen. I've had them in my purse because it's also my journaling pen. So, let's go ahead and get the wings. We'll deal with that when the time comes. This is another time that you might want to get your ruler. Again, I'm not too particular, but I'm going to show you a way to do it. So, I feel like the eyes, let's find our eyeballs back here. There they are. I feel like the eyeballs are going to be like right here. Let's see. You want to put the glasses on her and see what she looks like. Ta-da! She looks so cute. Okay. So the eyeballs are going to go about right there. So I'm going to kind of like draw my wings are going to come out right here. That way, does that look about even? I think so. That way you're not interfering with where your eyeballs are at. And I'm just going to come in here. I'll take my glasses off because sometimes I see better without them. I'm just going to come in here and create downward wings. This may be something that you're not comfortable with. I think one side is bigger than the other on my other owl. And you can definitely, I can see it a little different here. But I'm going to just use my paintbrush and come outside. And you get a gist of it. And you can kind of come in here and use your paintbrush, or you know, even measure if you're like, oh, that is not the width. What's at the biggest? It's about 1 1/4. And then you could do on this side, you're like, I need to go out about right here to make it even. So that's one way that you can work with your ruler and get it more precise. Another idea that I also use in some of my art is if I want to have patterns over here, like if I really like a paper or something like that, I can come in here and use pattern paper and cut them out and glue them down and use that as your wings versus your paint. So I think I'm going to come in here. This is teal mint. And thought about doing pink wings, but I think or you know what else would look cute is red. I wonder if I should do red. Let's see here. Let's just do a little bit of the teal and let's try it out and see what it looks like. It's going to be like dark enough. You know, I think I have an idea. Let's go ahead and do this. Again, you can still see the paper bubbling. I'm not too concerned about it. I think it's going to be, once it dries completely, it's going to go flat. I hope. If not, it kind of adds to the paper. If you do not want your paper to do that and you're like, it's not okay with me if it bubbles up, my suggestion would be not to use this really thin paper. underneath it, but I really and truly feel like once it dries completely, it's going to be fine. I've worked with canvases before and my paper's bubbled up, and I've just been like, no, I didn't want it to bubble up, it's going to ruin. And then I end up basically I'll let it rest. I always call my paintings and say that they rest. And so I'll go to bed and come back and look at it, and it's perfectly fine. So I'm going to say, from my experience, I think it will be fine. But if it's not, it's okay with me. If you're like, can't stand the bubbly paper, just don't use that real thin. They sell it in the paper packs, but it's not double-sided. It's just a real thin type paper. So, okay. So we've got the wings added. Like that. Okay. While that's drying, we can create our little leaves for our branches. So I'm going to pull a couple of greens, just kind of see which one would show up. You can actually do just like we did with the tree branches, and do like a kind of a shadow. I'm going to use kind of a thinner paintbrush here, just to get that. And here's a quick little, I could have come in here with some white paint first, because see how you can see clearly right through that, but we'll add a couple layers and I think we'll be just fine. So I just basically add layers, and it's an oval shape with a point at the end, like that. And I think I'm going to put one on this side. I think I'm just going to put one right here, just to add a little bit of something on that side of the owl. There. See, and I'm already able to add another layer, and it's kind of thickening it up where you can't really see the polka dots behind it. Okay, so that part's done. I'm going to go ahead and get the eyes glued down while we're waiting on those wings to dry. And I'll take these and just put the glue on there. We're going to add them. I'm just going to kind of put them in place, tap them a little bit until I know that's where I want it, and then I'll really secure it down. Now with the eyeballs being so thick like this, you're going to want to add a lot of glue just so that they don't pop up. Like that. This I might need to add just a little bit more on that side. Oh, she's coming together. She's looking pretty cute, don't you think? Okay. To do her little nose, you know what, let's try to figure out, I'm still torn on what to do with her little outfit. But let's get my pencil in here. I think I'm going to go ahead and do like a little shirt like this. Or you know what I could do is like just another layer in there. It doesn't necessarily have to be the shirt, but this is where my pink is going to come in. And I might actually need to do like a layer of white first, just to get that pink to show up beyond underneath that that teal. The paintbrush is awfully thick. I feel like I'm going to mess up with that fine line there. Like that. Oop, I really got it on me now. Okay. She's kind of looking strange. I know. We're going to get her fixed up here. Now I can come in with that thicker paintbrush. I go through a ton of paintbrushes. A lot of times what I do is I clean them after my painting's done, but I'll just use a bunch throughout the process instead of having to clean it between painting, especially with acrylics. Now with watercolor, you just have to go in there and dry it off and you're good. You can pretty much use the same paintbrush. Just like that. That way when I paint the pink, I don't have a problem with it painting layers and layers. This is going to add a base coat to that. So, that looks good. And I think my next step is we're going to add little, I was thinking about, I'm just looking up here real quick. Excuse my arm real quick. I have some more punches. I was going to look and see what I had. Small wise here. This was that set that I had the heart and the little flowers. So I think what I'm going to do is punch out, I'm going to use this paper here. I'm going to punch out a bunch of different little flowers. I'm going to let that dry for a minute. And we're just going to come in here and use this punch. And, oh, the paper is real thick, and so this may be kind of the tedious ordeal here. Boy, that's not working very well, is it? We won't do a whole lot of these, but whoops. I don't want to lose my little flowers. Whoops. Let's see here. Let's do a couple more. I might have to pick thinner paper. Oh, that one went easy. Okay. Let's see about that, how that's going to work. I have a plan. I do have a plan. Okay, so the pink, I'm going to go in here. This is a bubblegum pink. And, ooh, yuck. See what I mean by drying up? This one I haven't used in a while. And it gets really, really gross. Sometimes I think I really like this. It's between the poodle skirt pink, I think, and this bubblegum pink. And I have several of them. So I just kind of squirted some out onto a napkin here. And we're going to paint in the body. Just like that. Okay. My family just walked in and they're making fun of me, so I'm sorry I got silent there for a minute. But so I'm going to fill this pink in just like that, and that way you don't have to come in here and add a lot of layers. Okay, they left. That's so embarrassing. I don't know why, but it's like when I'm in my studio and I'm filming, I feel like I'm seriously talking to everybody that's watching, but not my family, you know? So, okay. I'm gonna make it pink. I love this color pink. It's really pretty. Just like that. As you can see, her shirt's a little off here on this side, so I'm just going to kind of come in and create another layer like that there. And that paint was really clumpy. Okay, that disappoints me. When I know it's kind of a mind thing, but I'm like, that means you're not painting enough if your paint gets clumpy. But it really does have to do with the fact that the garage is really hot in the summer. Okay, so while that dries, what can we do? I feel like we need to do something. Basically, I'm going to add these little flowers to her shirt. But I know what we can do while it dries. I loved how we added on this particular owl, we did the little wavies here, and so we're going to do that on here too. So I basically just started out and I used my pencil and I just did just like that, just simple wavies, kind of like little when you did like your little trees, your little round trees. As a kid, I always did little cloud shapes or waves, and that's pretty much all I did. Again, you could get your ruler, which I set it down somewhere, and kind of show where it starts. That way, oops, got myself dirty here. You're comfortable with where they are. Just like that. Okay. I think I messed up. I think that's pressed it. Oh no, it must have been on my hand. I just set it down there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is kind of try to find a this is more, let's see, what did I use? I used the teal, right? The teal mint. So I may go with like a lighter color. I hope it's thick enough to go over those pencil marks. When I did the other one, I didn't have to worry about it because it was, I did a darker color. But with this teal, I just don't know if I have another dark color. I could do a dark pink. Oh, yeah, the dark pink would look really good. Let's see here. I think I have a razzleberry. This is a pretty dark pink. Let's get some room over here. And that may look really good. Let's see how this, I like this paint. This particular color. It's a good color. So I get a fine point paintbrush, excuse my arm. I think I'll have to get one of these over here. And let's see here. Let's get a napkin to test it out. Oh yeah, okay. Throw that in the trash before I make myself a big mess. And then I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to actually turn this out upside down. And I feel like it's going to be easier for me to work with it that way. So I'm going to just come in here with my paintbrush and I'm just going to follow that same pattern. And again, this is whimsical art. You can just, and to me it's kind of like a doodling art. And if it happens to where you get out of control, if it gets funky, like it kind of goes off the page or you kind of mess up a little bit, I think it's okay. Should have had my family get my pen, but then I would have had to go through the whole explanation of where the pen is at, and sometimes it's just going to be easier for me to go get it. Okay, so I'm just going to finish up this side, and then I think we're going to be ready to glue down her those little punches that I did of the flowers. See, I don't know why it works better with it being upside down, like for me to do this. But sometimes it just seems like it just makes it easier and I'm more precise. Does that make sense? I don't know if it makes sense, but ta-da! Oh yeah. Don't you think that looks cute? I think that looks really cute with the next to the turquoise and stuff. So, and if you wanted to, you could come in here and kind of fill in if it didn't, you know, the paint. But I'm actually okay with that. And I know this film is probably going on really long. Oops. And I want to get on with it. So, okay, so here's our little cute little flowers. And we're going to come in here and get our little are, looking at that paint. That paint was weird. It may be time to get rid of that paint. It seemed like it left a weirdness to its little background. So I'm just going to come in here, and once you get glue on your finger, you can just pop it on your finger and stick it down like that. So, what do you think? Just looking cute? And then you can do the same thing with hearts. What I mean by that is you could do punches of little hearts and have a heart on our shirt. What I'm going to do with the pen, I'll just kind of talk about it now because I might actually do it off camera, so this video isn't like forever and you're watching me do outlines of pens. I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do, but then I'll probably just kind of do it off camera. And is I'm going to basically, if you can look at this little owl, I've outlined every little aspect of him in pen, and it just makes, besides his feet, I forgot his feet, but it just makes such a difference. I didn't do the eyes, but I did the outside of the owl, and then I did like his little waves, and then the branches there. Okay, so let's get our glasses on. And then you might also wonder, I think I'm just going to do circles in the background. I put a little moon on him and some stars because this was like, I love that. I wanted to use that little journaling card, that hoot under the tree, under the stars. And so I used, I wanted it to be at night. Plus I was doing it at night, and I'm still going to have to go in there and write it, journal, because I meant to do it last night and I just got too tired. Okay, so I'm just coming, and I'm using a napkin as a base down so I don't get glue all over my desk here, but I'm basically just adding glue all to the back of these glasses. And I'm going to peel it off and put them on. Let's see, what do you think? On? Yes. Right there. I guess they look cute. Yeah, I think so. I kind of wish I would have put the eyes a little different. I guess I didn't quite stretch those out when I was doing that. Like, kind of like placed them. I should have moved the eyes a little bit further out. But I am okay with it. Okay. So there you have the gist of your owl pretty much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera off for a minute. Before I do that, what I want to do to the background, because of course, to me, even though it's pink polka dots, I'm like, I see just like it needs something, some white spaces or something. And I think once I add the, excuse me, the washi around the edges, it'll be fine. So I'm going to go off camera here in just a minute. I'm just going to fill some of these in with this little, that teal mint color. And I'm going to outline the owl. But I'm going to come back before I do the whole thing and show y'all exactly how I do it. But I don't want to just be on here outlining and you're like, okay, we get the idea, you're outlining the owl. But I do want to show you exactly what, because you'll see what a difference it makes. To me it does, at least. I'm just filling these in just because it'll add just some more of that color and just kind of draw in that owl color. Okay. Alrighty, well, I'm going to step off and I will be right back. Okay, so just to kind of show you a little bit about the pen that I use and the outline that I use this Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen, and it's that black 199 with the 3 asterisks. That has different thickness of them. I think there's like, is there 5 different types of points. I love these pens. They work great on any kind of watercolor or acrylic paint or anything like that, and it's taken me a while to find these pens, so I highly recommend them. They are one of my favorite pens. So So basically, to kind of show you how I did outline, I did some of it already, but I wanted to show you how I just kind of wispy outline these things. So basically, I just kind of come in here and just do little, in this case, I'm doing these little curves, and I'm literally just, it's real light on the pen, and I'm just doing a little bitty, just like do 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 do, and just kind of, whoops, you know, nothing, just kind of outlining the bottom of them. Whoops, got a little out of control there. And same with this, with the outline of the owl. I just, you know, kind of like you're sketching, you know, and so that way it's not like a, you could do a fine line if you wanted to, like a real thick outline, but I think in the process that I do things, it's not exactly perfect. So to me, having a non-perfect line when you're outlining works for me. I did want to come in here and show you how to do the bottom of the leaves here, and basically it's the same idea. I'm just kind of, I'm thinking about a tree branch, you know, it has its different markings on it, and I just basically just, again, just doing little wispies in here, bringing it in here like that, making long ones, short ones, just kind of sketching out the different trees. And then when I do my leaves, I just kind of shape them around, and then I do, you know, the little wispies to make the little leaves. So I did want to show you that. And one other thing I noticed when I was finishing this up, she doesn't have a mouth. I mean, how is she going to talk and eat and drink? So we need her to have a mouth, and I need orange. So I've got I'm just going to get a scrap piece of paper here. This is that cardstock I used. Actually, these are leftover. This is leftover remnants from making this month's kit, the spiced pumpkin spiced kit, and so that's what I used on the background. That's that really thick Cartabella paper, and so I'm just going to use it to create her little nose. Now she looks more complete. And I'm just going to basically cut a triangle. We're going to add glue to the back of it. The idea is to get the edges down. Get the excess off here. And glue that into place. And I'm going to come in here and just kind of do a little wispy outline of the nose. Now I didn't do the eyes, but I even did the little flowers on her shirt. And there she is, hooty cute, isn't she? So let me just kind of show you a little close-up. I might have bubble on the paper. It's still kind of a little moist, so we'll have to see what it brings. But just to give you a close-up of the finished owl. I really do hope you create something. If you're on Facebook or you're on Instagram, be sure to tag me at Rebecca Hoot, and I would love to see your creations. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in my next video.